Hey everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. So there's a new, hopefully not a trend, but a couple of new stories that came up that are pretty upsetting. Parents in Wisconsin, specifically in the Washington and Ozaukee, I believe is how you pronounce it, counties, sent their children to school knowing that they had tested positive for COVID. So the Washington Ozaukee Public Health Department officer, Kirsten Johnson, told the local news that there have been 3 incidences of this happening. And in one case, a student was so ill that they went to the nurse's office. And that's when the nurse realized that the student was on a list of children who had tested positive and should not be in school. So Johnson told a local news station, quote, "The biggest challenge for us that we're experiencing right now is people are just being dishonest. They don't want their children to be quarantined from school. They don't want to have to miss work. In doing that, they're jeopardizing the ability to have school in person and other people's health." And they're saying, this jeopardizes their ability to keep the school open. They may have to shut the entire school down. And the area's public health department, as of September 22nd, was investigating 25 schools in the 2 counties to see if there were any other incidences like this. Washington County Board member Don Kreifall said, "When you have parents lying to contact tracers, refusing to get kids tested, that's just beyond the pale. That becomes very problematic for the health department to manage this whole situation. The hammer may have to be dropped. We're not going to be able to keep our schools open. It's going to, just a few parents that are irresponsible are going to affect the entire school district." And this isn't the only report of something happening like this. So as I mentioned, this is hopefully not a trend, but I fear that we're going to start seeing a lot of this. So recently, an Attleboro high school student was sent to school just 2 days after testing positive for the COVID-19 virus in Massachusetts. These kids not only risk contaminating and infecting other students, but they may contaminate and infect teachers or other staff members, and they're older and may have pre-existing conditions, which means you're literally risking other people's lives. You may be young, you may be okay, but somebody older than you could die from this. And then what happens? If someone does die as a result of this, are the parents going to be charged? Could they be charged with a crime? This is reckless endangerment, manslaughter. I don't know. I'm not an attorney, but I would assume that when you knowingly expose someone to a potentially deadly virus, when you lie to conceal it, and you've been told, you've been warned, don't do this, don't send your children to school if they're not feeling well, and especially if you know they're carrying a deadly virus, I would assume that there is a case to be made that these parents could be held liable for medical bills at the very least. They better hope nobody dies. And, while I say that, I do understand. I do have empathy for these parents who they've been struggling. They've been unable to pay their bills potentially or put food on the table. I get that they have to go to work. And so, yeah, I blame them. I'm angry at them for being irresponsible, but I'm even more angry at our useless lawmakers and our useless government that has made this necessary. If we had just locked down completely and no ifs, ands, or buts, you had to be wearing a mask, as they've done in other countries. And I've talked about this before. I have extended family in Japan. They locked down for only a very short period of time, and they have only lost, and I realize their country is much smaller than ours, but per capita, they have done extremely well. They lost, I believe it's now just over 1,000 people, just over 1,000 deaths compared to ours, which is now officially over 200,000 dead Americans. Why? Because they wore masks. They didn't have to mandate it. The government didn't have to threaten them or make a law. They just actually give a damn about their fellow citizens. They did it without any government intervention, and it tamped down the disease. It got rid of the virus. They were back up and running. I believe in like 2 months, their country was back to almost normal. So we have done the worst job here if our just shameless and incompetent president had said from the beginning that everyone should wear a mask. I'm going to wear a mask. This would have been done and over with. And go beyond that, even if it had still gotten out of control. If you take care of your citizens as they do in other countries and give them health care that they don't have to pay for, and give them testing, and you give them a UBI, people wouldn't take such desperate measures like this. People wouldn't be risking their own lives and the lives of others if they felt that their needs were being met. They wouldn't worry about having to go back to a job and send their sick child to school. So yeah, the more I think about it, the more I'm pissed off at our government than these parents who are just trying to put food on the tables for their family. But so, yeah, something's got to give, because all the way around, there's plenty of blame. So anyway, guys, as always, like, share, subscribe. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Thanks for listening to Plants and Politics. The only way we can take our country and power back is to spread the truth and build an army. So remember to like, follow, subscribe, and share on Facebook, YouTube, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thanks again.